we develop a very cool food recognition platform that basically you can scan the food with your iPhone camera and see exactly and extract from the camera the kind of food that you eat and sometimes also the quantity. We have around 4,000 food like that currently we can do, and we are expanding it all the time.
Welcome to Longevity by Design, a podcast designed to give individuals access to the leading scientific information in the field of longevity. The ability to add years to your life and life to your years needs no opinion. Join us as we ask science to take the wheel. In each episode, Dr. Gil Blander joins a co-host and an industry expert in the field of longevity, shining a light and getting the answers to the key question: how can we live a longer, healthier life?
Hello, I'm Ashley Reaver. Welcome back to Longevity by Design, How to Live a Longer, Healthier Life. We're produced by InsideTracker, your science-based guide to optimizing your body from the inside out. Today we're doing an Ask Me Anything with Gil and I, and we are talking about something that's near and dear to both of our hearts. Internally we call it the Nutrition Solution, but it is a project we've been working on for almost a decade, and we are very excited to be introducing it to the world in a few short months. So we will go into depth about what this is. So Gil, when was the idea of the Nutrition Solution raised? How did it come about?
Yeah. So when I started the company around 15 years ago, I realized that nutrition is a very important part of the InsideTracker solution. And I was trying to understand what is going on. And I realized that there are more than 8,000 different food items that are available to us to eat. But nobody knows what food is good for you and what food is not good for you. So I started to dive deep into that. And I looked around and I've seen that nobody have a good solution of how to feed the right food for the right person at the right time. I also realized that an average American in an average week consume around 40 food items, or actually now we know that it's around 45 food items. But again, it's 40 or 45 food items out of 8,000. And again, nobody know what food is good for you and what food is not good for you. And at that time, I decided to try and find a way to access this data or this information to a user and provide to them a laser-focused solution. So that's the background of why we decided to do it.
And why has it taken us almost 10 years to get here?
I'm sure that you can answer, but I will take the first shot, and I'm interested to hear your viewpoint. So maybe let's go one step further. When I realized that the problem is so big, I decided that we need a team to approach it. And then we were looking for a scientist, an RD from Tufts School of Nutrition, which is one of the best nutrition school in the world, actually in Boston, very close to where InsideTracker is. And I started to interview candidates for that to help me to do that, because again, I realized that it's not something I can do alone. And we interview a lot of candidates, and then you came to interview. And I really like your passion. I really like that you are a hard worker. I really like that you are very smart and determined to make a change in the world. So first we hired you. And then we started to look and ideate a few different ideas. How can we do that? And both of us agree after each time that this is not the best solution. So we said, okay, let's take a pause and re-approach it a few months later. And actually, we did it for maybe 7 years. And then we got to a point that we say, okay, we need even a bigger team. So we hired the best design team that we could. We hired a few innovative people to help us. And we spent another 2 years just to add the solution. And then another year or year and a half of development, and here we stay. But what is your angle?
Yeah, it takes a long time to make something that you're really proud of. And I think, as you said, we just never quite landed on the thing that was exactly what we wanted it to be, that really showed how much how important nutrition is for all of the things that we also provide recommendations on. And I would say that during that, the past 10 years, InsideTracker has grown and changed so much. So we were also being pulled in a zillion different directions, trying to just improve the product as much as we could. And I think that everything that we did along the way, we were able to learn so much. And if we couldn't implement it in the product then, we're able to, take that knowledge and put it into deep dive now.
Yeah.
Good things take time.
Yeah, good. And it's a very tough problem. So that's why it took so long. So can you define the problem, Ashley? What is the problem?
Yeah, I think the biggest issue with nutrition is it's hard to get a very accurate assessment of what someone really eats. In the product right now, we have a food frequency questionnaire, which we developed maybe 8 or 9 years ago, which is just trying to get us a general idea of your food habits, because the frequency at which you either eat certain foods or maybe don't eat certain foods certainly can have an impact on your biomarkers. But filling out a food frequency questionnaire isn't going to give us the most accurate information all the time. It's the best, kind of thing that we can do, but everyone knows what you fill out in a questionnaire. You're trying to pull things from your memory, you're trying to look at your life for the past 3 months, and things just inevitably happen. So this process allows us to incorporate a food recall as well, and usually the gold standard is having both a food frequency questionnaire and an ability to do a food recall or a food diary for 3 days, and we're doing for 7 days with deep dive, which we'll talk about. But the goal is that we really can actually get to know what someone's eating, that they can report it to us in real time. We can synthesize, analyze that information, and then we're able to actually give insightful, maybe recommendations or just tips as to why someone is low in certain micronutrients, maybe why their biomarker looks a certain way, how the timing of their intake has an impact maybe on performance or sleep. And it's awesome. We've never had kind of real-time nutrition data to be able to pair up with real-time sleep exercise data as well.
Yeah.
So it's exciting.
That's very exciting. And what are the value for the end user? What is the value proposition of Deep Dive?
So a lot, but we're biased. I would say some of the biggest takeaways that a user could expect is an analysis of how they're eating is aligning with their micronutrient and macronutrient goals. We provide timing insights, which I think is super revolutionary. No one else is doing something like that. Of utilizing a fitness tracker, we can see when you went to sleep, when you woke up, when you exercised. We also have when you log your meals. Hopefully you're pretty close to the timing on that. So we can tell you if the timing of your food intake is influencing maybe exercise performance, could be impacting that poor quality sleep you got last night. You can log your supplements, so we can tell you if you took your supplement at the right time. And then we go in depth on a couple of those nutrients in particular, letting you know, this nutrient was low. That might be the reason why these biomarkers are outside of the optimal range. If it was something perhaps that's even more important for you based on your DNA or based on certain lifestyle factors, it gives a lot of value to something that's pretty hard to collect. So I think the users will get a lot. It's like a second results almost. You get your blood work back, and then you're also able to see how your current eating habits can influence your blood work.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's as we said, it took us a decade to make, but I feel very proud of what we have done, and we already tested a relatively high number of internal users, and we see a lot of excitement about it. So I really hope that we'll receive the same reaction from a wider population, and basically allow people to understand what's happening inside the body and how their food influence that, and also what macro and micronutrients are not optimized, and so on. Everything that you have said, that today people see it, I see it as a dark matter. Nobody knows. It's like enigma. And suddenly we are opening the window and allowing you to understand what really happening in your body, and how your nutrition might influence your body performance. So that's really exciting.
So how does Deep Dive work from the user side?
Yeah. So we try to make it as simple as possible. And I'm sure that some of you, maybe all of you, have done a food frequency questionnaire, and that's something very hard to do. By the way, if you'll ask me what I ate this morning for breakfast, I might don't know exactly what I ate. And in those questionnaires, if you go a day back, maybe you are 50% accurate. If you go 2 days back, maybe you are 70% not accurate. And 3 days back, you don't know anything. So the advantage here that you log your food on time. And what we are expecting for our user is basically to log his food for a week, 7 days. And the logging of the food can be done by a few ways. We develop a very cool food recognition platform that basically you can scan the food with your iPhone camera and see exactly and extract from the camera the kind of food that you eat and sometimes also the quantity. We have around 4,000 food like that currently we can do, and we are expanding it all the time. You can also scan a barcode of processed food, and there you have millions of barcodes that you can scan. You can also search for a food and enter that. And if you already logged the food yesterday or the day before, you can look at frequently logged food and based on that, have that. So you log your food for a week. We really want you to connect your fitness tracker because what you said before, Ashley, we want to know when you slept, when you woke up, when you exercise. We also would like you to scan the supplement that you are taking. And then after a week, which I know that it's not very easy, but I strongly believe that the value of the report is so high that you will do that. So that's basically what we are asking you. We're asking you to share with us every meal or every food item that you consume for a week, every supplement that you consume, and your sleep and exercise that's coming from your fitness tracker.
And what is the end value for the users? What's your kind of explanation of what somebody gets from the process?
As a Longevity by Design podcast listener, you understand the value of improving your health for today and for all the years ahead. And if you want to live your healthiest, longest life possible, you need to understand what's going on inside. At InsideTracker, we take a personalized approach to health span optimization that eliminates guesswork from your wellness plan. InsideTracker analyzes blood biomarker and DNA data, along with physiomarker data from fitness trackers like Oura Ring, to deliver personalized food, supplement, lifestyle, and exercise recommendations that allow you to take control and improve your health span. And for a limited time, Longevity by Design listeners can get 20% off at the InsideTracker store. So if you're ready to receive a personal health analysis and data-driven wellness plan to optimize your body for the long haul, then it's time to start inside. Visit InsideTracker.com/podcast to get started today. That's InsideTracker.com/podcast to get started today.
Yeah, so there are a lot of value in my opinion from that process, and actually it's a long list, but I can start and maybe you can chime in and add more. So it's starting by revealing to you what macro and micronutrient you consume too much or too little. So we have around 20 macro and micronutrient that we are measuring. And then based on your age and gender and ethnicity and athletic activity, depending for which macro and micronutrient, we are showing to you what is the amount that you're supposed to consume or what is the range and whether you are in the range or not. So that's the first value. Then the second value is that for each dose macro and micronutrient that you are not consuming the right amount, we are showing to you what was your consumption every day of the week, and then showing to you what is the amount that you're supposed to consume. Then we are explaining to you why it is important. It's influenced these biomarkers, influence your sleep, it influences your exercise, and anything else that it's influenced. And then we are showing to you out of the foods that you consume in that week, which foods you should consume more and which food you consume less in order to bring this macro micronutrient to the right level. Then we are also, as you said before, we are showing to you a sort of a Gantt chart of your week. So basically one a screen on your iPhone that show during that week when you slept, when you exercised, when you fed yourself, and when you supplemented. So it's very nice. It's very cool. Again, it's like the dark matter that we are opening the window. Suddenly you can see that. Nobody knows. You ask me to say again how many times I ate yesterday. I don't have a clue. When I woke up yesterday, I don't know. When I exercised, I don't remember. I know. So that's giving you a very accurate data about that. So you see apples for feeding, a pill for supplementation. You see a specific range of the sleep and a specific box for the exercise that you have done. On top of that, we develop a machine learning algorithm that look at those timing and come and telling you, hey, Ashley, actually, you haven't fed yourself at the right time post-exercise, and show you why. Or showing you your nutrition was influencing positively or badly your sleep, and how your sleep influence your exercise. So a lot of timing-related recommendation that allow you to optimize the timing, in order to optimize your body. So that's the high-level value proposition that I see, but anything that I missed?
No, I think that's it. I think importantly, we eat food. We don't eat micronutrients or macronutrients. So it brings a lot of insight into how your diet really, again, it's made up of these little building blocks that play such an important role in your health. And I would say, InsideTracker, we are already leading the field in integrating blood biomarker data with physiological data from a fitness tracker, with your DNA data. So now being able to add kind of real-time nutrition data on top of all of that, again, it's super exciting for me to work on something that just doesn't exist. Yeah. It's a really cool challenge, and I think it's great to have so much data, but if you can't really do anything with it, then what's the point? And just like, all of these other biomarkers, if you want to manage something, you should really collect data on it. You can't manage what you don't measure. So now we actually have a way to really be able to do that for nutrition as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So the next question is, how often should the user do that? We said that it's a week. But a week how often?
Sure.
Week in a year, week in 5 years, every week? What is the cadence of this deep dive?
I think our gold standard where we would love to get is everyone doing this for the week before they get their blood results. So if you get your blood tested every 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, or every year, let's say, taking this deep dive is what we're calling it, doing this kind of tracking so that we can get really fine-tuned info on your nutrition. While you're waiting for those blood results to come in, are going to give you an extra layer on top of how to interpret these results that you have. But even without a blood test, doing it every 3 months or so is a great time really to check in and get feedback. It's really hard. As a dietitian, I don't even know if I'm eating the perfect amount of magnesium a day. So having some data that I can get back that based on all of my food choices for that week, on average, I'm hitting that magnesium level that my body's going to function the best at. Maybe I need to improve a biomarker or to support my performance or sleep is really good feedback for me to keep doing what I'm doing. And on the flip side, if I'm not taking in enough of something or my last blood test told me I should increase fiber, for example, it's nice to have that, again, every 3 months or so check-in to let me know that I still have work to do or if the changes that I've implemented have now gotten me to this right level.
Yeah, and our hypothesis is that a person in during that week or during his life consume a pretty similar nutrient or nutrition or feeding himself in a different way. And it might drift, so that's why we're thinking about the 3 months, because you might change your behavior with time. But if you do it for a week, the next week or the week before will look very similar unless you are traveling. So try to do it in a representative week. Don't do it in a week that you are traveling to Japan and eat sushi every day if you are not eating sushi every day. Try to do it in a week that it's really representative of your life in the recent history.
Yeah, and not sick.
Yeah, yeah. Try to do it in a represent. So, actually, the next question is about why have we decided to go for 7 days and not? I know that a lot of food frequency questionnaires are done, 1 day or 3 days, but I haven't seen a lot of them 7 days. So why 7 days?
Yeah, a few reasons. I mean, one, a lot of food recommendations are based on how many times you should eat something a week. So, a lot of the research that we use to make our food recommendations in InsideTracker are really grounded in 2 times a week, 4 times a week, or even every day, let's say. So one, there's a big scientific reason behind why we would want to get a true representation of what 7 days looks like for you there. But we also want to make sure that we are including all of the variety of days in your life. So, certainly how I eat on a Monday looks pretty different than how I eat on a Saturday. And now, especially with not maybe going into office every day or having different activities, even the weekdays might not look the same. So over that 7 days, we're going to get a lot more variety and be able to have a much truer picture of what your diet really looks like. And we've, even from a science data perspective, we started all of this analysis by hand, so we can see what are those averages over 7 days. If we chopped it back to just analyzing the first 5 days and then the first 3 days, we saw that it didn't necessarily line up perfectly with those 7 days. So there is still a fair amount of variety that we want to make sure that we capture over the course of 7 days, and we definitely know that tracking for 7 days is tedious. It can be a little bit cumbersome, but the outcome that we get of being able, really to see this full picture of your nutrition and be able to give you those insights about how it's impacting your blood or your physiological markers, for us, we didn't want to compromise on that. So I will just say we hear you. It's a lot, and we know it can be challenging to get through those days 5, 6, and 7, but the payoff at the end, you're really going to appreciate that you went through that. So you can really trust those results. So Gil, when can users expect to be able to access Deep Dive and get all of these great nutrition insights?
Yeah, so we are recording that in May 10th. And currently it's already available for beta users of InsideTracker. So currently every user that want to and approach us can basically try it. It's still in beta, so it's there are sometimes some bugs and some issues that we are trying to improve. But our goal is to release it this summer, sometimes in this summer. And we are currently working on refining it and making the logging easier and improving a bit the report, and also working on marketing and branding and communication and making it easier for the user to understand what is the value, which I think that is huge, but again, we need to communicate it well to the user. So I anticipated it being released in this summer.
Awesome.
Thanks for listening to Longevity by Design. Please subscribe to this podcast on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. Longevity by Design is powered by InsideTracker, a personalized health optimization platform that helps people improve their lives by improving their bodies from the inside out, using personalized, science-backed recommendations for nutrition, supplements, and lifestyle changes. To learn more, visit InsideTracker.com/podcast.